Welcome to this week's C4 Talks with Garrett and Joey.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
How you doing this week, Joey?
Nothing too special, just relaxing, enjoying the break,
Yeah. Good Christmas break.
Yes,
Hopefully
yes.
everybody is being merry and having good holidays.
Yeah.
This week, we're talking about Without Warning, album that came out around October, I believe.
Yeah, late October.
Late October. It was a project, a collab between producer Metro Boomin, probably one of my favorite producers in the past recent years.
Modern
Definitely
king of beats.
He's really good. I'm not gonna lie.
He every fire song, I feel like he has a crucial part.
Definitely.
Like you will hear the Metro Boomin.
His tag.
Yeah, you will hear it in any song that is like, damn, like that's a good song. Like,
yeah, he's one of those producers where I've heard very few beats by him that don't just completely blow me away.
Yeah.
This album, and I think the entirety of this album that he produces is fantastic. He does a good job on this album of just making really dark and dreary beats.
Yeah.
Like he nails that.
And I feel like he got the perfect people to come in and feature on this album for these type of beats. Like 21, he's got that that voice.
21 Savage.
Yeah, Offset.
Comes out, kills it. Offset from Migos. Honestly, the two of them, from what I've seen, Metro Boomin and 21, they've had a pretty good history of making hits.
Yeah.
Savage Mode. I know 21 Savage's debut album, Issa album, was had some Metro Boomin production on there. Offset, I was honestly surprised to be the third party member here.
Yeah.
I didn't expect someone like I had never really been. I'm not that big of a fan of Migos.
Understandable.
And I recognize that they're getting better in recent months.
Yeah, they've definitely gotten better over the years.
Yeah.
Definitely gotten better.
And especially since from last year, I feel like they've really improved. But
I mean, what is it? Culture? Their newest album, Migos?
Quality Control? No, like their most recent album that came out I think a few weeks ago was Quality Control.
Really? They just came out with a new album?
Yeah, it wasn't like just them though. It was their entire record label that they're on. Quality Control is the name of the label.
Okay.
Not that good. You should check that out whenever you get the chance. But out of all the Migos, I was honest to God surprised to see the one standout star be Offset here. Now, Takeoff, I don't know if he has as much on his own power.
I've not heard much from Takeoff by himself.
Yeah,
you hear Quavo, and then in this you hear Offset.
Yeah,
I've not heard much of just single solo.
A lot of people say that Quavo is the standout star of Migos.
I still think that. I personally think that.
Yeah.
I think that. I think Quavo's the best of them.
I think he's good when it comes to choruses. I think he's okay on features. When it comes to his own songs, I don't think he's that strong.
Yeah.
Especially on this most recent album of Quality Control, I didn't think he was that good. But Offset, at least mainly here, I find that he really does a good job of matching the kind of hardcore kind of darkness that 21 Savage and Metro Boomin bring to the table. And I feel like he really matches that. I feel like he really comes in here on this project. And I honestly feel like he really comes out as his own person.
He put it. I feel like he put a lot of work in this album. He definitely shined a lot brighter than I thought he was going to when I heard that it was him on this.
I'm honestly surprised because I feel like this album did really good in comparison to Quavo's solo album.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called, but I remember it getting some pretty negative backlash. But to see, I guess I'm saying I'm really proud to see that Offset was able to go out and do this project on his own.
Yeah, and be like, yo, listen, it's not just Quavo in the Migos. There's also me, Offset.
Yeah.
I'm here.
And even beforehand, even though Offset was someone that, was a part of the group and had his
always
fair
overlooked
share.
him.
Yeah.
Always overlooked
Same. That's what
always.
Takeoff, I felt like now Takeoff is the one that is going to be the most overlooked until he comes out with his own solo project and has his own chance to come out from the group.
And if he's going to be following any trend, he's probably going to have the best breakout.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Takeoff has yet to surprise me.
Yeah, same.
But
I don't really find anything that he's done too inspiring.
But who knows? I didn't think the same thing with Offset. So, and Offset came out and surprised me here. 21 Savage, of course.
Nails it.
I think he does. Obviously
he's been killing it this year.
He has. He has. 21 Savage is, in my opinion, kept rising in popularity.
I did not like him last year. In 2016, couldn't stand him.
I feel like he's... I understand that his style hasn't changed that much, but I almost feel like he's grown a little bit as an artist.
Yeah. Because
at least here, he seems to take the typical stuff he raps about and gives it more of a face, if that makes any sense. He has more of an identity, I feel. Yeah. I feel like he's solidified his style to a point where it's solely his, and he can call it his own.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can truthfully say not everything he puts on this album is gold. A lot of it is still the same kind of stuff you would have heard last year.
Yeah.
But I love listening to 21 Savage just for his character. And in my opinion, that's kind of what he is as a character. Mm-hmm. But he plays it so well. He plays it so convincingly. He more so than not on this album comes out and hits me with something that I can bang to. Mm-hmm. I love listening to his lyrics here. I love listening to his voice. His voice, more than anything, I find, is just something that I love listening to because it's so different from everybody else's voice. He's not mumbling. He's clear, mostly.
It's to me, it's this weird mixture of clear and mumble.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, but it works.
Yeah, it's something in his voice where, the stuff he's rapping about is not just something he's rapping. It's something you believe. When he says he's going to kill you or something like that, the way he says it in his voice kind of makes you feel like this is the kind of person that would actually follow through.
Yeah.
I really love that aspect of 21 Savage. Now, not all of his lyrics are spot on. Some of them are pretty goofy, but I take them a lot more. I take them better here than I would from another artist. If another artist were saying these same lyrics, they wouldn't have the same effect. I would laugh at that other artist for saying these same lyrics than I would at 21 Savage.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that's a compliment towards 21 Savage.
Yeah.
Because even though I do think his writing has improved a lot, there are still aspects on here that I don't fully agree with. But the way he says them and the way he goes about talking about them, I truly think work just because of how he says it, just because of the way his voice works.
Yeah.
Metro Boomin, I'm very happy to see came out with this smash hit album. Like we said earlier, every single beat produced here, pretty fire. Ric Flair Drip,
arguably the best song of 2017. I'm sorry. I love Kendrick's album.
Yeah.
I thought all the songs on there were great.
You think this is better than Damn?
I think the individual song, Ric Flair Drip, is better than...
The entirety of Damn?
No, it's better than each individual song.
Oh, okay. Alright. I feel you.
Damn it's gonna win Album of the Year, no doubt.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
But Ric Flair Drip, that song just... I don't know why, it gets me going. It is so... It energizes me. It makes me feel like I just want to go out and do something. I don't know how to explain it. It's just... It
is lit.
It is lit as fuck.
It is constantly on fire.
It's so short, but man, it punches hard.
Do you want to talk about each of these songs just a little bit as we go? There's only 10 tracks.
Yeah.
The album starts off with Ghostface Killers, featuring 21 Savage, Offset, and Travis Scott.
Yeah.
What do you think about that one?
I don't know. I liked it, but you know what? I'll just say I liked it.
Yeah.
There's not really much I can comment. It's not like a song that I'm gonna skip over if it ever pops up in like a Spotify playlist radio. But it's not a song that I'm gonna go out of my way to listen to.
Right. It is a song I would only skip when I get to the Travis Scott part.
Yeah.
I will go on record right now and say I do not like Travis Scott's music.
That's fair.
You can hate me. You can try to crucify me. But Travis Scott, in my opinion, is one of the worst rappers we have going for us.
One of the worst. Wow.
I just don't here's the thing. I don't like his voice. I don't like his use of autotune.
Who's worse than Travis Scott, in your opinion?
Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Pump.
Thank you for saying Uzi. A lot of people love Uzi, and I don't get it.
No.
I don't understand.
I don't understand it either.
What is there to like about Uzi? That is the most annoying shit in the world. I'm sorry, dude.
I honestly think that people like Uzi just because he sounds interesting without actually being interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like Travis Scott might be the opposite, because I said this earlier in the day. I was talking to somebody at work about this actually, where I had said Travis Scott might be saying something like legitimately cool, or might be having like actual awesome lyrics, but his sound turns me off so hard I can't even give a shit. Like, he is the opposite of Lil Uzi Vert, where he doesn't sound interesting at all, but might have something interesting going on.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad about that, because he might actually be saying something interesting or cool.
It's just you can't listen to it because you're like, God, he's just...
It's grating, dude. It is literally like Future or Designer or anybody that uses auto-tune and uses it in such a way, in oversaturated use, I should say. Yeah. I don't like how someone like Travis Scott, as big as he is, could come out and have all these different songs, all these different tracks, and every single one of them is littered with that auto-tune voice. The reason why someone like T-Pain can make auto-tune work is because he naturally has a good singing voice. So using auto-tune to like make his voice sound a certain way, or sound like, for lack of a better term, interesting, doesn't work for people like Future or like Travis Scott, because
they just have shit voices.
They have shit voices naturally, so instead of trying to like use that voice to the best of their own ability, they auto-tune the shit out of it, and it makes it sound even worse. Mm-hmm. I can't get with that. As soon as he starts on Ghostface Killers, I have to turn it off.
Damn.
I have to. It's probably one of the most frustrating instances I've come across where I like a song but hate it because of Travis Scott, because of the last verse.
At least it's not the first verse, you know?
Yeah, if it was the first verse, I don't know.
Probably would have never even heard every other part of that song.
No, I mean, like, I would have had this, like even if I got through the Travis Scott verse, if it was the first verse in the song, and got around to Offset and 21's verse, I don't think I would have appreciated their verses nearly as much, because I still had Travis Scott's shit verse in my mouth. And I'm just lucky that didn't happen. Interesting enough, we move on to, I think, the only other feature on the album, Rap Saved Me, featuring Quavo.
You know, not gonna lie, can't really recall how this one went.
Honestly, a lot of these songs, if there ever was a criticism I could throw this album's way, is that a lot of these songs do kind of blend together. There's actually an instance I recall between the 4th track and the 5th track, where the 4th track literally is ending but the way it ends makes it sound like it's almost continuing in a way.
Yeah.
And then as it's continuing, sort of, it picks up with track number 5. And the first time I heard the album, I honest to God thought track 4 and track 5 were the same song.
Really?
Until I started like listening closely and was like, oh wait a minute, there's a totally different chorus going on.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I also find it interesting how I go through the album and I note that even though 21 Savage and Offset are both on the album working together, not every song has Offset 21 Savage.
Yeah.
Rapping on it.
Mm-hmm.
I note track 4 is just 21 Savage. Ric Flair Drip, number 3 is just Offset. Nightmare is just Offset. Matt's Run Up the Racks is just 21 Savage. It's really interesting how that works. I also feel the second half of the album is kind of where it starts to lose its appeal.
I feel like after I'd say Mad Stalkers is probably that's where it starts losing steam.
Yeah, it gets to a bunch of other songs that like the style and techniques that they used earlier on in the album start losing their heat. They start losing momentum by the end of the album just because it's sort of the same things we're going over.
Yeah.
Even though the beats are, a little different, they still sound relatively the same, and all this like for instance, 21 Savage's voice after a while stops getting to the point where I get invested in what he's saying and just kind of is like, all right, I'm just vibing to music probably, Yeah. Offset's, I feel, is kind of the same way. Like I said, just the second half of the album is where it relatively falls off for me. But I definitely feel like this is just a all-around solid album from everybody involved. I guess ending our discussion on this album, because it is so short and because it lacks, I don't want to say it lacks substance, but there's nothing really thought-provoking behind it.
Yeah.
But I can definitely say, ending on this album, I think it's interesting how Metro Boomin was able to put this together literally I think it was a week or so after Super Slime came out, the Future Young Thug collaboration. That and the reason I think that's interesting, why that came out slowly after this one came out, was because Future and Young Thug had a Future Young Thug and Metro Boomin sort of had like a trio thing going on. I don't know if it was contractually obligated that they worked together or just like a agreement they all had between each other.
Yeah.
But on Super Slime, or whatever the album's called, I might be calling it something different than what it is.
Super Slimy, maybe?
Yeah.
Super Slimy?
Probably. It was a bad album regardless. But
very let down.
Very let down. Especially from two hit makers. But
I love Young Thug and I love Future. Except for when Future sings. Future, stop singing. You're terrible. Stick to the mumble rap. That's what you're good at.
But what I thought was interesting was Metro Boomin and, like I said, Future and Young Thug had sort of like a three-way thing that they had going on where they would work together. But when Super Slimy was coming out, they had literally every other major producer in the rap game at that point in time working on that project, but never even told Metro Boomin about the project.
Really?
He wasn't even aware that they were working on it.
Damn.
And he was left completely out of the project.
Damn.
Yeah. So what happens? Literally right... And this was also around the same time Quavo's album came out, which failed too. So what happens right around that time? Metro Boomin gets together 21 Savage, someone who in the past has proven to be like an automatic hitmaker when they work together, and Offset, an underscored Migos, to capitalize on the fact that one of the other Migos just fucking failed in their attempt to go solo, and put together a 10-track album that was overall solid, more so than either Quavo or Young Thug and Future's album.
Well said. I probably couldn't have said that better myself. So, Thank you for summing that up.
You're welcome.
Because I would have done a really shit job.
Well, now, moving on, we have another topic we have just recently, discovered. We've been talking about it, a little bit before the podcast. Joyner Lucas has been making some heat lately.
Oh, yeah.
I have been familiar with Joyner Lucas for a while now.
I personally have not been too familiar with him. I know him from probably the Sriracha song.
Right, the Sriracha song.
That's just about it for me.
Yeah, I had never even heard of Joyner Lucas up until that point, because he's still sort of an underground rapper, but he's been making more headway in the past year or so, due to the fact that he is really coming out and people are really starting to notice what a good lyricist he is, what a good rapper overall he is.
Oh, yeah.
We've listened to 2 songs before the podcast that basically sum up what kind of a rapper Joyner Lucas is.
Should we start with the I'm Not Racist?
I think so.
Okay.
3 weeks ago, Joyner Lucas came out with a song called I'm Not Racist. That is a political song depicting a white man's side of racial tensions, what his perspectives are, and then on the flip side you had a black man's perspective on racial tensions in America.
Yeah.
And basically the whole 6-minute song is just the two of them sharing their sides of the story and exactly trying to, I guess, express that they're not racist, but this is just sort of how they're viewing things right now.
It's more of a debate between the two cultures, the huge culture divide that is going on in America and has been going on in America for hundreds of years. And it's perfectly brought together in this 6-minute song. Mm-hmm. Like, it is just, for where it currently stands in 2017, it was masterfully put together.
I had never thought to myself that I would hear a good political song that solely tackles politics, racial tensions, any kind of other political issue.
And to me, the best part is that it doesn't attack one side.
Right.
Too many times you hear these rap songs that are like, these damn dirty Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
This opens up both sides of the argument, and I think it's great because people need to hear, as backwards as some of these people may think, you still have to understand where they're coming from in order to come to an agreement and like work together. Like, you got to figure out what's going on in their head if you want to work with them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I 100% agree. I truly find it amazing that Joyner Lucas was able to encapsulate the two different sides.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah. Like,
absolutely mind-blowing.
What's even more interesting, though, is how, as he depicts the both sides of this argument, neither one of the arguments are, like, attacking each other.
No.
It's not, oh, you're this way and you suck, or because you're this way, things are this way. Yeah. It's mainly just because it's even though, like, in a way they're pointing blame, it's not at each other. Yeah. It's sort of like at the system that's involved. Yeah. It's sort of like saying, well, look, we didn't do this because we're just bad people or because we're lazy. We did this because the system made us do this, or the way things are currently made us this way. It did such a good job of showing two sides of a story, two sides of an argument, without actually having an argument.
Yeah.
It was, oh, I think you're this way, or I think you're this way, but giving you the chance to come out and say, well, actually things are this way. I don't think I've ever heard a song where someone definitively didn't point a finger at someone and say, you're the problem.
Yeah.
You're the issue. It was two sides, independent of each other, but still coexisting at the same time, basically saying, look, I'm this way, you're that way.
Yeah.
We can find a way to make this work. And that blew my mind. That absolutely blows my mind.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Like, like this song was more political and more hitting home than any one track on Eminem's Revival.
I'd say any one track of 2017.
Any one track of 2017 sums it up pretty much.
Yeah.
It is it's just...
It's the epitome of what is going on in this country.
Like, it's not a... I'm not going to sit here and say it's a perfect song.
No, it's...
But it is the perfect song for what it's saying.
Exactly. And that's what I'm... Yeah. Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. And what's even more crazy is I compare this song... Speaking of Eminem, what's even crazy is he actually references Eminem's BET cipher.
Really? Oh, yeah. That's right. He does.
In both verses.
Yep.
They reference Eminem's BET cipher, and I thought that was really interesting because I don't even think in the BET cipher he referenced race that much.
It's not that he referenced race; it's just the fact that he attacked Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these white people, they viewed that as an attack on white people, and of course, because of that, the African American communities viewed that as him sticking up for them.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing that a song like this can come along late in 2017.
A time where it's probably needed most.
Yeah, especially because of the, forthcoming Trump era and everything involved with that, everything that comes with that. It's so refreshing to see an artist come out and put themselves out here in such a way where they say, look, nobody has to be racist here. This is just the way things are. Sort of everything's a misunderstanding. We just need to find a way to come together, work together,
yep,
and actually make America great again.
Yep.
I love it. It's not just saying these things. It's the way they're said too.
Uh-huh.
Everything hits you at like 1,000,000 miles an hour. As soon as one bar is spit about how hard something is, right after that, following that is another one, and it is just da 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 da. It's constant.
And it's crystal clear. I could understand every single word of the song, and that is so crucial. And that's what I think is the best part of the song, is that you can understand every single lyric.
Mm-hmm.
Can be understood.
And that's one of the greatest appeals about Joyner Lucas, is that he's so crystal clear in his vocals because he wants you to be able to hear everything he's saying.
Yep.
Like, no matter what song you go and you listen to, you will be able to understand everything. And that's honestly refreshing in a day and age where everybody is slurring over their lyrics, everybody is mumbling their lyrics, everybody is just half-assing the English language just to get a Billboard Top 100 charter out there for a few weeks. Whereas Joyner Lucas comes along and hits us with something that, in my opinion, is timeless.
It has a lot of depth.
And it's not just something that is powerful now, it's something that could have been powerful decades ago. It's something that's powerful now. It's something that'll be powerful in the future.
Yep.
It's amazing. It's amazing someone like this could put something like this out. And not just that, talking about his lyrical prowess or his ability to come up with a political song, he's even gifted in remixing other people's songs. Oh my god,
he's been on fire with these remixes.
I haven't listened to all of them, but the most notable one that's come out very recently was the Gucci Gang remix.
God, despise Lil Pump.
I hate Gucci Gang.
I despise that song. I think that this 17-year-old bastard does not deserve an ounce of the fame that he's getting. He is disgusting.
Because
it's garbage rap.
He's just a kid that slurps, Percocets, lean, all this shit, and then puts out...
Kid's gonna be like fucking Ozzy Osbourne in 20 years. He won't be able to fucking say a damn word with how much of this shit he does.
Exactly. Like, he's literally just... He just does all this shit and then puts out half-audible music. He puts out music that is, in my opinion, ear-grating. He puts out music that is repetitive as hell. He puts out thoughtless lyrics. He puts out thoughtless beats. I mean, even if it's a good beat, it's like he trashes it ultimately because of how half-assed his performance is. And people are eating it up.
And I have to ask the question, why?
Because it's digestible, I guess.
Why are we giving this guy the attention?
Because, in my opinion, I think it's because he... I hate saying this, but because he kind of looks interesting. And the only reason I can say Gucci Gang ever took off was just because it was catchy. Now, I hate it. I don't even think it's catchy.
I don't either.
But, because all it is just repeating Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang,
and like
Gucci Gang.
It's annoying.
It's like that annoying scene in Family Guy where Stewie's literally just sitting there going, Mom,
Mommy, Mama.
So I imagine a Lil Pump just like staring up at me while I'm listening to like actual music and going, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gang Gang.
Gucci Gucci Gang Gang.
Gucci Goo.
Instead of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, it's fucking Gucci Gang Gang. like I hate it, but too.
So I love seeing someone like Joyner Lucas come along, take that same beat, and completely blow Lil Pump out of the water. It's no contest. Which version is better?
Oh yeah, it's hands down the remix because it has substance. It has depth.
It's saying something.
And it roasts Lil Pump. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean...
Always a plus.
Things that I love, so...
Always a plus. Like he... And it's not just Lil Pump he comes out and roasts. It's any rapper that bases their entire career upon doing drugs and rapping about it.
Yeah.
He literally comes out and says, all you, lean heads, all you do is chug lean.
It's not like marijuana, like a Wiz Khalifa rapper. He doesn't even attack those. It's like these dudes that are doing cough syrup, Percocets. It's the dudes that are doing these stupid prescription drugs.
Literally just getting blasted on that, and then coming out and making music
and saying how cool it is. When in reality, it may seem cool, but that shit will kill you.
Yeah, he's literally like, you guys are just a bunch of drug addicts mumbling over your words, selling music. And it's disgusting to the rap art form, and it really is.
Yep.
It's okay, because I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that rappers haven't made songs like that in the past where all they do is drugs. Yeah. But when you base the entirety of the music you put out behind that kind of stuff, exactly,
garbage.
It's garbage. Like there's no substance there. And I hate to say it, but I'd rather prefer someone that just comes out and makes maybe one or two songs about drugs, but then coming out and saying, let me put it this way. I'd rather prefer someone makes songs entirely about drugs, but then at least talking about the other side of drugs, about how it's not just constantly a party and whatever.
Yeah.
Talking about the darker side of drugs.
Yep.
As opposed to someone that just sits there and says the same thing as every other new up-and-coming rapper that's coming out.
Yeah.
Mumbling over their words. And not because it's the norm and it's cool or whatever. It's because they're literally so fucked up that they just can't help it. They literally get fucked up, get in the booth, and then do that stuff. And half the time, I know it's on purpose. There is no way Lil Pump doesn't get high off Percocets and then go and do music just because that is the only way he can do music.
I would agree that's probably the only way that he can record his music. I actually saw a what was it? I want to call it. I want to call it an interview, but I also want to call it a documentary because what this guy did is he went to a Lil Pump concert, and after this Lil Pump concert, he went to the studio with him, and in this video, Lil Yachty's with him. And and they bring in like a shitload of Popeyes. I mean, they had a couple blunts, but
Yeah.
they were also drinking a shitload of cough syrup, and then they would get in the fucking booth and start recording, and I'm like, this is not. I was like, this seems fun. Like, I feel like I'd have a fantastic time hanging out with these dudes, but like
when it comes to music, okay.
I want to do that and then record music.
Yeah, like I don't want to sit there. Like I might sit there and do it with them, and then just maybe play video games.
I want to do the cough syrup. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't drink cough syrup. I can't.
I mean, like,
tried it once, hated it.
It's all up to interpretation. In my opinion, it all comes down to just, are you willing to put it aside, get it out of your system, sit down, and actually make music? And if you're not, you shouldn't be making music.
Yep.
A great man once said, and that great man is Rod Serling, the writer of Twilight Zone. He once said, if you need drugs to be a good writer, you're not a good writer. That is the best way anybody has ever put it. That is the best, thing any creative writer has ever said about utilizing drugs in your creative process. That is the simplest way to put it. Any of those rappers out there that come along, take this shit, and then make music with it, make their music about it, make every aspect of their life about it, then you're not a good rapper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. You might be topping charts. Sales may be trying to prove me wrong, but Joyner Lucas, who isn't topping charts or isn't making huge sales or anything like that, is a far better rapper than Lil Pump.
Yep.
Like that's indisputable. I'm sorry, but you can't argue that.
You can't argue that Lil Pump's even a good rapper.
Like
he just raps over good beats.
Yeah, he just raps over bangers, and now he could prove me wrong in the future if he actually puts out a rap song high off his ass and actually makes something good. I might concede, maybe. I don't see it happening.
Highly improbable.
But if he actually comes out not high off his ass and actually puts out something halfway decent, then I can start looking at Lil Pump and being like, all right, he's changing, he's evolving as a musician, and I can get down with that.
Yep.
Other than that, though, yeah, Joyner Lucas is just a great rapper. Last thing I wanted to discuss on his person was the Logic Joyner Lucas beef.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not even know that existed.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
That's a shame. Those are two great lyricists.
and they both featured on Sriracha. And I actually saw an interview on the rap show Complex News with Joe Budden and DJ Academics.
Joe Budden.
Yeah.
Damn.
This time around, he was actually, being quiet. So Joyner Lucas was doing a lot of the talking.
Uh-huh.
He was describing exactly how the beef started, and I guess this has been going ever since Sriracha, because apparently the way Joyner Lucas puts it is that the beef started with Sriracha.
Really?
So
it's been going on for a while.
Yeah, since last year. Apparently, how the story goes, I think even Tech Nine put it this way. Tech Nine told the original story, and Joyner Lucas repeats that same story, but puts a twist on it by saying that Logic wasn't really down with it. Apparently, what had happened from Joyner Lucas's side of things, this is what happened. Tech Nine and Logic they're two big independent names. They had been trying to get with each other for like the longest time to do a song. I don't know why they had never done so before.
Yeah.
But they were finally getting around to do it. Tech was coming out with his new album, The Storm, at the time, and was like, yo, I got this sick-ass beat, calling it Sriracha. I already spit my verse on it, trying to get Logic on this shit. But as he was trying, and Logic was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do my verse or whatever, and I'm gonna put it on there. But before Tech Nine was about to send over the beat to Logic, Joyner Lucas, who I think is a signee over at Tech Nine's label, Strange Music, got a hold of it, heard it, and was like, yo, let me get on this shit. please, he was like, let me get on this shit. I can kill this shit. And Tech 9 was like, yo, I don't really know. This is supposed to be a me and Logic kind of thing. I don't know how Logic's going to feel about that. And Joyner Lucas was like, yo, just please. I mean, at the time, I guess Joyner Lucas's mentality was, Logic's a killer MC. Tech 9 is a killer MC. Let me have my chance to prove I'm a killer MC.
Yeah.
And Tech was like, all right, whatever. Here, you take your beat. You take it, write your verse, whatever. I'm going to send this shit over to Logic, tell him what's going on. And Joyner Lucas had his beat. He had the beat. He had his verse written. He got that shit down. He recorded it, all this, that, and the other. And then he was like, all right, now we just got to wait on Logic. And for the longest time, they had still been waiting on Logic. From what I understand, months had gone by, and Logic still wasn't giving in his verse. And enough time had passed, and finally he sent his verse back, but the verse was not nearly as good as Joyner, and apparently a lot of fans thought it could have been. Because Logic's a decent rapper. I'm not going to sit here and say he's one of the greats.
I like Logic, but I listen to him quite religiously, not going to lie.
Yeah? I will sit here and say that he's a decent rapper. He's proven himself to be decent.
Yeah.
But with this song, however, he didn't come out with his all. It didn't appear like he was giving it his all. And certain things he had said, because he had heard Joyner's verse on it first before he gave his verse.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently there were lyrics in Logic's verse that Joyner Lucas took as, oh, Logic is pissed that I was on this song. Like, oh, I'm supposed to come with that fast flow or whatever. And Joyner Lucas had like a rap verse on Sriracha that rivals Eminem's Rap God speed. And Joyner was like, yeah, you're supposed to come with that fast flow. You're Logic, that's what you're supposed to do. But he didn't do that. He came with such a more lackluster verse that Joyner Lucas was like, he's not giving it his all because I'm on the song. And from that stemmed a beef between the two, where Joyner was like, Logic obviously, I guess, doesn't respect me as an artist, or just doesn't like me for some reason, or whatever, or felt like I was stepping in on his chance to finally have a song with Tech 9, that he just didn't give it his all.
Yeah.
And I can understand that. I don't know if that's entirely true, because I honestly don't even know what Logic has said in response. Tech 9, I don't know if he's ever even commented on this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know this beef existed. I really didn't.
And I don't know if it's just totally a Joyner Lucas kind of thing. Like, if he just, like, in his head, I think that's what it is. Mm-hmm. But from what I understand, there's an ongoing beef right now between Joyner Lucas and Logic.
Damn.
And I hope in the future they kind of get that shit solved, because they're both pretty good MCs.
Yeah.
Joyner Lucas.
Both extremely talented.
Yeah.
And I mean, shit, Logic's only got one more album before he's done, so.
Yeah. Hopefully it's better than Everybody.
You don't like that one?
It's a
that's for another time.
That's a podcast for another day. But yeah, Joyner Lucas, check him out. We think he's a killer MC. Just had a lot of shit to talk about him. A lot of shit we needed to get off our chests about why we think he's a killer fucking rapper. Now we move into the final part of the podcast.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen the latest in the Star Wars trilogy.
We are the Last Jedi.
Yep, we're going to be talking about Episode 8, Last Jedi. Joey?
Last Jedi.
I know you have a lot you want to say.
Where to begin?
Go ahead. What do you have on your mind about? Okay, first, what did you think about it? I know what you think. Tell the audience what do you think.
I'll give it this. It was entertaining. I was not bored.
Okay.
I was not bored throughout the entire movie. But yeah, I don't even know where to start. I'm going to start with this.
All right,
before we delve into the plot, before we delve into the characters, before we delve into anything, stop with this motherfucking Guardians of the Galaxy formula. You need to stop where these super serious moments are just put to dust by lighthearted quips and jokes, and it takes away. Because Star Wars, I grew up, it was serious. I mean, I can't even think of there was a couple times throughout the movies, the first 6 where there were jokes, but they were meant to be there. They were intended to be there. These fast, witty quips from these characters and this lightheartedness that was overwhelmingly present throughout the film. It was so disappointing because I wanted this to be serious. It's called The Last Jedi. It has to be serious. This is Luke Skywalker, or is it going to be Rey, which you find out in the film. I couldn't, for example, the Poe Dameron thing where he was flying around and he's talking, and he's just he's trying to get the attention of what the hell is the Admiral's name?
Admiral
from the
Ginger. Let's just call him Admiral Ginger.
Yeah, the redhead guy. And he's just saying these stupid jokes. Absolutely stupid jokes.
I'll hold or whatever when he's saying I'll hold for Admiral whatever.
Yeah.
General Ginger.
Yeah.
He's like this is Ginger.
It's Hoff or something like that. God, I can't remember.
Fuck, I don't remember. I kind of want to look it up, just so I don't call him that for the rest of the thing. It's pretty funny. I know what you're talking about. I know what moments you're referring to. For example, when Luke Skywalker is
he tosses the lightsaber over the edge.
She
finally gives him the lightsaber. Literally the fucking most intense scene from the episode 7.
When she hands him the lightsaber. Scene.
And then it just follows up by him just fucking throwing it over the mountain cliff. Are you kidding me?
I thought that was funny. The scene where Luke Skywalker at the end of the movie, they're on that ice planet or whatever.
The salt planet. They literally had to get a soldier to wipe his finger in the freaking ground, lick
salt.
it, and then say salt, because in that scene, I was like, this is Hoff. But literally, right as I thought that, he wiped his hand, licked the salt, and said, this is salt.
Salt.
And
I was like,
the
thanks.
fact that you had to point that out in the first place.
Thanks. I'm so glad I knew that. His name was General Hux. Hux. He goes, I know what you're talking about. Well, anyway, on that example I was thinking of was when Luke was on that salt planet or whatever.
Yeah.
When he finally showed up and all the blasters were blasting him, all the AT-ATs and shit were blasting the fuck out of him. And the smoke clears, and he's just he
ducks his shoulder.
He flicks his shoulder off.
Okay, listen, that was badass.
Badass.
That wasn't one of those. That's not what I'm talking about. That was pure badassery.
That was awesome.
I absolutely love that scene.
That was awesome. I know one. The scene, a good example I think I know what you're talking of, is the scene where Rey and Kylo Ren, their minds are still linked for whatever reason, and they keep having moments where they look back and forth and they see each other, even though they're fucking light years apart. And one time they do it, Rey looks up and she starts talking to him and she's like, can you put on a towel? And he's bare chested or whatever.
Yeah, and that has become a meme. That scene has become a fucking meme.
And then they try to carry on as if it was all serious. And the entire time I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, ooh, Kylo Ren, that bod. The body he has does not fit the small-ass head he has.
I know. Adam Driver, I'm sorry.
Looking at him from the first movie, there was no way I would have looked at him and been like, oh yeah, he totally has a bodybuilder's fucking facade. Or a physiology. Honestly though, those moments like that
piss me the fuck off.
I didn't think they were as prevalent.
They were so prevalent in this movie.
I didn't think they were as prevalent as I wasn't as distracted by them as I think you were.
Well, because I'd just be sitting there in a super intense scene, and then some stupid shit would happen like that, and I'd be like, really? Why would you alleviate that? Why not just get it resolved instead of doing stupid fucking jokes?
I will agree that the majority of Star Wars has been more of like an epic, more of like a Shakespearean kind of play in a sense. And
not like a Thor Ragnarok, not like a Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was about to say, obvious ever since.
And I love Thor Ragnarok, and I love Guardians of the Galaxy because that's what I have come to expect from Marvel films. And yes, I understand they're both owned by Disney.
I was about to say.
But do not fucking translate that motherfucking formula into Episode 9. Rian Johnson, I swear to God, if you do that with your trilogy, if your own trilogy that you have coming after this one that completes, if all 3 movies are gonna be like that, I do not plan on seeing any of them.
Wow, are you serious? I do not plan on
seeing any of them.
It's that bad?
I'm infuriated, bro. I want it to be serious. Marvel movies, while they have their serious tone, they have room for that type of shit to happen.
I have to disagree.
They make the room.
I have to disagree with you on the fact that Star Wars Last Jedi was just completely littered with that.
It was littered.
You have to admit, though, when they were serious, they were really serious.
And that's what I loved, and I wanted the whole movie to be like that. I would have thought so much better of the movie had those things been taken out. Yes, I would have been disappointed with what happened with Luke.
Oh, we'll get to that.
And especially Carrie Fisher and Princess Leia.
Alright.
I do not know how they're going to get rid of her. How?
Yeah,
There was absolutely no filming with her done for Episode 9.
Mm-mm.
How the fuck did they expect to get rid of her?
You can get by with that for Episode 8. But like when we thought she had died, that's when she should have died.
When that bridge exploded, that's the moment she should have died.
Because she honestly doesn't.
Luke Skywalker leading the charge in the next one.
Yeah.
It should not be Princess Leia. Bless Princess Leia. I loved her. I love Princess Leia.
Love it.
I love Carrie Fisher. Rest in peace. Performances. But damn, she's gone. If Carrie Fisher were still alive, I probably would have not been as ticked off.
Right.
But now we have to witness the fucking demise of Luke Skywalker, and then between Episode 8 and 9, there's going to be the demise of Carrie Fisher or of Princess Leia. And so what does that leave us? Fucking Rose, that token Asian chick, Finn, who I still love.
I love
Rey,
Finn.
who is.
I hate Rey.
You hate Rey?
I don't like Rey. I love Rey.
Daisy Ridley is so hot.
I don't like
her.
Rey.
Her character is amazing.
I gotta disagree with you.
You don't like Rey.
I don't like Rey at all.
Really?
I think she is stupid. I think she's one of the dumbest characters Star Wars has thrown at us.
No, Rose is the dumbest character in the history.
I just have to say, like, Rose...
She's on the same level, in my opinion, as Jar Jar Binks.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I despise Rose. The meeting that her and Finn had, that should have been the end of it. The very first meeting when she tasered him.
Yeah.
That should have been it.
Yeah.
But no, they had to throw in the token Asian chick and then make it turn into a fucking romance.
Was it a romance,
kidding me?
really?
She tried making out with him twice.
Did she?
Yeah, and I'm like, I wanted Finn and Rey. Dude, she literally kisses him. She literally kisses him.
I don't remember that at all.
She literally kisses him after she saves him from getting blown up. Remember, because Finn was about to kill himself.
They didn't kiss.
Yes, they did.
She was knocked out. She was knocked unconscious.
She wasn't unconscious. She was conscious for a little bit, and then, oh my, you know what?
It's whatever. Okay, but like, I didn't think Rose had that much.
I want her gone. I don't care for her. I didn't gain any feeling for her whatsoever. When she had to give up that stupid fucking.
I think she's dead.
Rose? No,
yeah,
she's still alive.
I heard that they said she was. Finn dragged her back, and he was like, "Oh, she's badly wounded," but we didn't see what happened to her after that.
Yes, you do.
What? Oh, I see. Yeah, they were on the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about.
That's where they kissed.
I was just hoping she was dead.
When she had to give up that stupid fucking amulet, her sister, who was in the film for 2.5 fucking minutes, I had more emotional pain for her sister, the one who died in the bombing, bombing ship.
Same.
I did not give a shit about Rose. I was like, get this fucking character off my screen.
I
don't care.
I can see where you're coming from. I feel like for me though, it was just she didn't have as much going on in the film. Like she was there in the film, she was prevalent in the film, but she didn't have
no fucking reason.
She was there to fuck up their tracking systems.
I know, but she shouldn't have had as much of or attempted to draw as much of an emotional appeal because I didn't feel it. I couldn't get behind it.
I feel you.
She was
I feel the same way with Rey, to be honest. With Rey,
but Rey's like a cornerstone of the new trilogy.
Okay, but here's my thing.
She's
Rey,
so badass that she's attractive.
I can't say she's
her
badass
backstory
either.
is amazing.
Now here's my thing. One, we don't really know her backstory. She was
An
dumped on
orphan
some
from
planet.
Jakku.
That's it. That's
who
fine.
survived by herself.
I think what it is
and is extremely powerful in the Force. Extremely powerful, according to Luke.
Yes.
Almost, if not as powerful as Kylo Ren.
Yes. But my problem with Rey is that, one, I think she is really dumb. That's my first thing.
Elaborate.
Okay. she I think she's really dumb just because she does multiple things that are really dumb.
Elaborate.
She trusts Kylo Ren, and I can
That
see
was
why.
dumb.
Now here's my thing. She literally, Luke Skywalker, a fucking Jedi Master, looked at her and said, "If you attempt to try and turn Kylo Ren, you will fail." He literally looked at her and was like, "Do not do this."
Yeah.
What does she do?
She tries.
She packs her shit and she goes. And that's fine in and of itself if you want to try and do that.
And that led probably to the most badass scene of the entire movie. To be honest.
I like that scene, but I didn't like Rey in that scene because
the fight with when the two paired up to kill the Imperial guards.
Yes,
that was so cool.
But before then, when Rey was literally like, she like grabs her lightsaber and was like, "I'm gonna kill General or Supreme Leader Snoke," and I'm like, "Bitch, are you serious?" Like, she doesn't have like some unique plan or anything. She literally picks it up and charges him, and she has almost zero training with the Force. Practice with the lightsaber maybe one day, and tried to charge the leader of the First Order.
Does that sound familiar? Luke Skywalker did that, in Bespin, Cloud City.
But that's
Darth Vader.
But the reason he
why didn't you hate Luke Skywalker for doing it?
Because the reason Luke Skywalker went and did it was because his friends were in danger. Rey did something stupid for a stupid reason. Okay. Luke Skywalker did something stupid for a good reason.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
I mean, that's
what I was looking for. That is very viable in my opinion, and you are bringing up some good points that I actually overlooked.
And another thing that, and I don't hate this about Rey, but in my opinion, she's a little bit of a blank slate. I think Disney made her a blank slate so that people, especially women, could put themselves in her role and be like, "All right, cool, I'm Rey and I'm fighting fucking galaxy and shit." Because in some cases, she seems a little too perfect, and in other cases, she seems like she just she just thinks she knows a little bit more than she actually does.
I mean, shit, she's probably. I mean, don't be surprised in the next film if she's some ultimate. I mean, she saved all those the Jedi books from the fucking tree.
I wouldn't doubt it.
She's gonna be bad fucking ass.
I mean, literally, that could be the same thing that happened because in the original trilogy, Return of the Jedi, Luke literally just shows up and he's a fucking monster. I wouldn't doubt it, but the difference is Luke had training with motherfucking Yoda.
The OG,
the OG's OG,
the most powerful Jedi
that ever lived and still lived even into the afterlife.
But you know what's funny? I could borderline make an argument that Luke Skywalker is the most powerful Force-sensitive Jedi after this movie.
Really?
I don't recall or ever even remember of Yoda Force projecting himself onto a planet
light years
away.
Yeah, but I also like to think
and giving someone a Force object that was physical. Mm-hmm. Those dice, while they weren't, they were real. Carrie Fisher could hold them.
Yeah.
Or Princess Leia could hold them, and they were. She was holding them, and she gave Luke a hug. That is insane. Amount of power.
That is pretty insane. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I like to equate it to the fact that Yoda 1 is not only centuries old, was dead, and was still able to conjure lightning.
Yeah.
Lightning, as we all fucking know, is like a master level of force manipulation.
Yeah. Yep.
And the fact that he could do that from the afterlife, I think speaks volumes to how powerful Yoda is.
See, I think it would have been solidified Luke as the top 3 most powerful Jedi had he lived after that projection.
Dude, I got it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to skip right to that because that was one of the
most disappointing death in the history of any movie hero ever.
Are you like, this is Luke motherfucking Skywalker.
I grew up idolizing him. He was my role model. I went out and I wanted to be fucking Luke Skywalker every day. When I read lightsabers with my friends when I was a young kid, I wanted to be Luke Skywalker every fucking time. My save name in Battlefront 2, the OG Battlefront 2, is Luke. It's just Luke. I didn't even have the audacity to put my own name. I was so infatuated with Luke Skywalker. I put Luke as my save file name
because he is like the quintessential hero. He came from nothing, rose to greatness.
Yep.
And he, in the face of evil, did not slip into the dark side.
No, he
fought the dark side.
Yeah.
His own motherfucking dad, who slipped into that same vat of darkness.
Yep.
And his son, who was younger than he was at that time, wouldn't budge.
He would not.
He lost his hand, and he still wouldn't budge. That is the dude.
He battled and beat motherfucking Darth Vader, one of the most skilled lightsaber battlers in the history of the universe of Star Wars. He fucking beat him, and instead of striking him down like Emperor Palpatine wanted, so that Luke could finally embrace the dark side and become his apprentice, he said no.
Exactly. He turned it down.
He said, "I'm not for this," and that is just
the fact that Luke Skywalker was able to beat Darth Vader, known through the entire galaxy as the motherfucker.
He's destroyer of the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
As a whole.
The guy that single-handedly destroyed every single Jedi that ever lived, save for Obi-Wan Kenobi and
his
Yoda.
Former master. No, he did kill Obi-Wan.
In the end, Obi-Wan. That's true. He did. I totally forgot. The only person he didn't kill was an 8-inch tall green little man. Jesus. Who was hidden away on a swamp planet and died shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
I mean, and the fact that Luke Skywalker at such a young age was able to kill that guy when he wasn't even considered a Jedi master.
I don't even think Yoda considered him a Jedi Knight. He was still borderline Padawan at that stage.
That's true. He was at the time.
Although
Yoda
he did forge his own lightsaber, which is a sign that one has become a Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
He was still super raw.
It was just raw power. But I think that speaks to how powerful he really was.
Yeah.
That he was able to be someone like Darth Vader.
And then for him to go out by just turning into a fucking nothing, not even getting killed by anything. He literally killed
vanished
himself.
Okay. I had real issues with that because at the time that had happened, I had no idea why he died.
I didn't either. I was like, why the fuck did he just die?
And it wasn't
until he finished the thing. He went up and sat down, and then he
just died.
And I was like, are you fucking?
He wasn't even that old.
No, it's like in his 50s, 60s maybe.
Yeah, and I mean I didn't really understand a reason why until I got home and my girlfriend and I were talking about it, and she had brought up a theory that earlier in the movie Rey had said that Luke had closed himself off from the Force.
Yeah.
And that was true. He did, because she couldn't sense him through the Force because he had closed himself off to it.
Yeah.
But
that doesn't mean he's still not Force sensitive.
That doesn't mean and her line of reasoning was when he chose to do something at such a powerful capacity, like project an illusion light years away, And then as soon as he was done with that and finished with that, that was so much power he used that killed him.
Yeah.
And my problem with that is I can't fucking accept that.
I can't either.
I can't accept that.
That's not how Luke Skywalker was supposed to go. That's not at all.
This is the one movie. Mark Hamill made this fucking film.
He did. Mark Hamill was the best part. That was probably the best part for me. Mark Hamill, God bless you. You are the man. I love you. I love Luke Skywalker.
You made this film.
I just... And Mark Hamill even came out on record saying he hated what Rian Johnson has done with Luke Skywalker.
Because the reason Rian Johnson kills off Luke Skywalker is just so Rey can become the hero now. And that's fine and all.
Guess what? He's not even directing the next one. It's going back to J.J. Abrams.
I just... Like, my problem is mainly that and the reason I can't accept that... The reason I can't accept that being the reason Luke Skywalker died is because, like I fucking said, Yoda, who was centuries old, weak, feeble-bodied Yoda, who had to walk on a cane because he was so crippled in his old age.
Over 900 years old.
Was able to lift a fucking starship up in the air like it was nothing.
Didn't even flinch.
I mean, like, it made sense why Yoda died, because he was literally just so old. He was
900
he could
plus.
barely walk. It wasn't extreme amounts of effort that he put out that killed him, because he's a fucking Jedi master. He was trained to be able to do shit like that.
The master of masters.
And it doesn't matter if Luke closed himself off from the Force. Because if you think about it, how long did he close himself off for the Force for? It was from the time
10 years.
10 years?
If that.
Anywhere between 5 and 10 years. And if you're someone who's as powerful as Luke, there is no reason why you can't just pick it back up like it's nothing. For a Jedi Master, it should be the same as riding a fucking bicycle.
Because think about it, how often do you think Yoda uses the Force?
Probably never.
At Dagobah.
Never. Because he doesn't have any reason to fucking use it.
He probably would use it to talk to Ben Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn, because it is known that he would talk to Qui-Gon Jinn in the Clone Wars.
Right.
But that's about it.
And even talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi, think about it. After the Jedi Order was destroyed by Vader, years must have passed between the time he had stopped being a Jedi and the time we saw him as an old-ass man. He was older than Luke, and he had probably never used the Force in that entire time period.
You gotta watch Star Wars Rebels.
Fuck, I don't care.
It's canon, and he's pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie.
Is he still old?
Yeah. He actually gets in a fight with Darth Maul in the show. Because Darth Maul's still alive.
I'd have to see it then.
Yeah.
I don't want to swear to anything then.
Yeah.
But my point still being that at that point in time, that's an even older Here's my thing. A Jedi Master should not die through overextension of Force.
They should have unlimited... Like, how... I've never seen anything where a Jedi Master was overwhelmed by the amount of Force that they were using.
Like, never. Anytime I've seen a Jedi Master die in the movies, it's because they were overwhelmed by somebody that was more powerful than they were, or natural causes. Yoda died to natural causes because he's almost 1,000 fucking years old.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi died because he was struck down by a lightsaber. Darth Vader died because he fucking fell off, or no, he was electrocuted by Emperor Palpatine, a powerful as hell Sith, and then died because of his wounds were too fatal.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon Jinn died because he was murdered by a lightsaber. Like, it's any Jedi Master that comes along and is killed in battle, or is killed due to natural causes. Because of the fact that Luke Skywalker, all he did was project an illusion.
A simple... You can borderline call this a simple Jedi mind trick.
Exactly.
Just over... it's a Jedi mind trick, just blown up a little bit.
And that kills him.
And that's what's so infuriating to me.
That was like the one thing in the movie that I still cannot accept, and I still don't like. Everything else I can like sort of get by with, but only to a certain extent. This, there is no extent. I can't get with this at all. How dare you kill Luke Skywalker this way? You can kill him, but not this way.
It should have... I would have been... You know what? I would have been accepted if... I would have accepted it had he been struck down by Kylo Ren.
Exactly. If he had actually been there and he had said the same thing Obi-Wan Kenobi told him, and then Kylo Ren struck him down.
I would have been okay with that.
Because that's what happened to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Jeez, dude.
Like, I would have been like, yeah, that sucks, but, you know, whatever. You know, I was like, it probably wouldn't have been a badass lightsaber fight sequence.
Yeah, if he was actually there.
Yeah.
My other thing that that's my biggest problem with the movie. My second biggest problem with the movie is something to do with the plot. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the plot of this movie.
I hated it.
Really? Go ahead and tell me why you hated it.
Number one, the fact that the rebel ship that was flying away from like the Imperial,
the cruiser,
yeah,
from the Star Destroyers,
and they were following this thing for like what 72 hours,
some shit like that.
Ryan Johnson, do you honestly think the Imperial fleet only has 5 Star Destroyers?
The First Order.
If that was, you think the First Order has only who have borderline already
conquered
squashed
most
out
of the whole fucking galaxy.
They've squashed out literally almost all of the rebellion. You think they only have 5 Star Destroyers in the entire galaxy? Are you kidding me? You know how easy it could have been had you just said, "Hey, people from this planet, come intercept this so we can block them in and blow them the fuck up," and that would have been it. But no, just for the fucking sake of the plot,
they're literally just stuck stationary.
They were just
moving.
Yeah, they were just flying behind them for hours.
And now, as suspenseful as that can be, if you sit there and just think about it, it is literally two parties in space just moving, trying to stay out of the range of the other one.
Yep.
And the more I sit here and think about it, the reason they were able to stay out of range of the Star Destroyer because they were lighter and faster than it was. If they were lighter and faster than it was, why couldn't they get away? Why couldn't they get further than they were, as opposed to just being ever so out of its reach? That didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Because that defies physics. If you're lighter and faster than something, and you're moving at a higher speed than it is, and the thing chasing you is moving at a slower speed than you are, you will inevitably move faster and more beyond that slower thing.
Yeah.
You will eventually outrun it. They'll still track you, but you'll still be, away from it further than you were.
Yeah.
I guess in the long run it didn't matter because they still would have ended up catching up to them because they were running out of fuel. But the fact that they were right there the entire time in the movie kind of gets under my skin. And the biggest problem with the plot that I have is that if you think about the plan that they had hatched, the plan was, okay, we're stuck because we're running low on fuel and they can track us through light speed. So what are we going to do? All right, here's what we're going to do. One, Poe was trying to talk to the Admiral chick and be like, what's our plan? What's our next move? She wouldn't fucking talk to him at all. She was like,
very infuriating. I hated that character so much.
Like, I'm not going to tell you what the plan is. You're a little flyboy, gun-ho, bitch. I'm not going to tell you what the plan is. She didn't tell anybody what the plan was.
She probably... whatever.
Because I know that there was a plan that they had in mind, because she was talking with Carrie... I keep calling her Carrie. She was talking with Princess Leia about this plan. And I know that they were talking about this before she went unconscious, because later on in the movie, when she came to and they were talking to each other again... it wasn't them talking to her. It was when Princess Leia was talking to Poe, and Poe was like, "Oh my God, all this stuff's gonna happen. We have to do this." And Princess Leia was like, "Don't worry about it. We already came up with this plan. We were gonna run out our resources as much as we could until we got to this salt planet, to this abandoned rebel base, and we were gonna get on these 30 transport ships, cloak them, and then head over there." That was the secret plan. Now, the plan that we went with for the movie was Poe didn't know what the plan was.
Yeah.
Poe was like, all right, we got to figure something out. Finn, who also didn't know didn't know there was a secret plan, was like,
he was about to abandon ships to save Rey, so she didn't come back to a blown up ship.
That's dumb. That's fucking stupid. But I'll overlook it because it didn't go anywhere.
Well, you know what? I kind of wish it did, just to get the Rose character out of the series.
Right. Well, anyway, that happened, and then Finn was like, they can track us through light speed, and then Bitch was like, oh my god, and then Finn and Rose started coming up with what the plan was going to be. It was going to be, alright, we're going to get a code breaker. We're going to sneak onto the ship, break into their control room, and then we're going to sabotage their tracking system, giving us 6 minutes time to get back to the cruiser, and then jump to light speed, so they can't track us through light speed in that 6 minute time span, and get away and they won't find us. Pretty solid plan.
Yeah, very solid.
Now, they start talking with Poe about what the plan is, and Finn confirms that they need a code breaker to get into the control room because they change the codes like every fucking hour or something like that. Like, alright, we gotta go get a code breaker. So they go and they get a code breaker, and it's some sketch ass dude that they get, and they take him back, and they start following through with the plan, and it is until the plan goes sour for Finn and Rose, and the code breaker and BB-8, where they're like, alright, we're fucked. But at that time that they got caught, what was happening? Those 30 transport ships on the cruiser were leaving the ship.
Yeah.
The secret plan was already going into effect. And that's fine and good. But at that time the secret plan was going into effect, the mutiny plan, I guess, was going into effect.
Yeah.
And the codebreaker and Finn and party were captured, and the codebreaker, being such a sketch dude, was like, was going to cut a deal. He was going to, put in a code or whatever that allowed the First Order to see the cloaked ships. And as soon as that happened, the secret plan was totally ruined.
Yeah.
And I sat here and I pondered on that for a second.
If that stupid bitch had just told Poe the plan, they would have been fine.
If that stupid motherfucking bitch had just told Poe and everybody on the ship what the plan was, that mutiny plan would have never taken into effect, and vice versa would have never ruined the secret plan. All those countless ships, those 30 ships, and how many of them got blown up, countless lives would not have been lost if that dumb piece of shit had just told everybody what the plan was. Because think about it, they're on a cruiser running for their freaking lives. There is no reason she wouldn't explain what the plan is.
Yep.
There is no reason. There's no sense in doing it. That means Finn wouldn't have tried to go get Rey. That means we would have never met Rose.
Yeah, thank God. Or no, thank God, I guess. Guess not.
Thank Force.
I don't know. Because whatever.
I mean, just like, it blows my mind because that is like the biggest plot hole. It's not a plot hole. It's just a mistake. It is literally a mistake because
here's another mistake about this stupid bitch. You are living in a galaxy with some of the most superior artificial intelligence in the fucking history of ever. Mm-hmm. And this she wants to go down with her ship. You know how easy it could have been to put a fucking R2 or R4 unit in the captain's seat and just fly the fucker into hyperspace instead of her dying?
And the only reason they did that was just so she could look heroic and turn the ship around and light speed through the ships.
I grew no feelings for her. I was like, whatever.
I didn't like her at all.
I was like, whatever.
I was like, sure, die. Do me a favor. And honestly, the movie, as much as I liked the action and I liked being entertained, for me personally, it felt like the movie was just dragging itself on.
It was long. It was very long.
And I mean,
not
even that it was long, but just that it kept finding reasons to keep going.
I don't know. Yeah.
And as much as I can sit here and say that I don't like Rey, or I don't like the fact that they killed Luke, or I don't like that huge fucking plot mistake, I gotta say, there were things about this movie I really enjoyed.
Kylo Ren and Rey fighting
those.
Before we get on the good, there's one more thing we must address.
Okay.
There's one more thing General Snoke, or Supreme Leader Snoke.
Getting axed.
Before we learn literally anything. Before we learn literally anything about him. He gets axed. But here's the thing. I saw a conspiracy online You watch episode 7 and you see the hologram of him.
Mm-hmm.
He is old. He is frigid. He looks in terrible shape.
Mm-hmm.
You see him in this one. He's young,
Really?
younger than he looks in The Force Awakens. He's more vocal.
Mm-hmm.
His voice has more youth in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now tell me, does that sound familiar to another thing that happened in the movie? The Force projection that Luke sent to the Salt Planet.
Oh my God.
There is a conspiracy going around that Snoke didn't die. He wanted that to happen. He wanted Kylo to turn on him.
Because he knew it was happening.
Because he knew it was going to happen. So what he did was, instead of taking his Imperial cruiser, he put a Force projection that was so strong that it was sensitive to things that would go through it. And so, like, when it happened, and think about it, it didn't actually fall on the ground and get cut in half until fucking General Hux walked in. That's when it collapsed in on itself. When he was initially stabbed, he was fine and just sat there. But when Hux came in, that's when it toppled over itself.
I remember.
So there are conspiracies going on that Snoke is still alive.
I mean, that makes sense because when
And you're gonna see him because supposedly in the next one, it's gonna delve into Darth Vader's castle on Mustafar, and that is where we think that Snoke is at.
That makes sense because Luke's projection of himself was able to physically interact with people.
Exactly.
And it wasn't until he was trying to show Kylo Ren that he's not actually there was when he was being passed through.
Okay, I knew that was fake the moment he showed up with a freaking blue lightsaber.
Yeah, because
it was like, blown up literally 4 scenes before that.
Yeah, I was like, where did Luke get another lightsaber?
Like, Kylo literally destroyed that lightsaber moments before.
Yeah, so it didn't make any sense.
I was like, you could have at least given him the green lightsaber.
That would have been badass. But
and another thing that pissed me off about what they did with Luke Skywalker is how they made him seem deranged and wanting to kill Kylo Ren for him becoming super powerful.
That was only in Kylo Ren's flashback, though.
I know, but like the fact that he was even put in that position at all. Why couldn't it have just been like Kylo Ren was just seduced by the dark side? Why did it have to be that Luke Skywalker wanting to kill him was the reason that he went to the dark side? That made me so fucking mad.
No. Luke said, specifically, his heart was already turned.
It doesn't matter. He was at the Jedi Temple, though. He was still getting lessons.
But he was going to turn on them, like, sooner or later. Like, it was already in motion. Luke, sitting there, was thinking to himself, he knows that Kylo Ren is going to turn on them. He knows that any given day, Kylo Ren is going to take that very lightsaber and destroy the Jedi Temple. And Luke, in a moment of weakness, thought to himself, I could end it all right now. I could prevent the death of all these Jedi Padawans. I could stop the inevitable. I could stop the motions of the First Order advancing.
Yeah.
And he was going to, but then he stopped himself. And it wasn't until Kylo Ren looked over and he thought he saw his master getting ready to kill him did he fully give into the dark side, but did the events that were inevitably going to happen initiate right then and there.
Yeah. And that's what I hated, is that's how it was initiated, was by that. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
I can see that. I can see why you wouldn't like that. I mean, like, I didn't care for it either way. What I was interested most about that flashback was that Luke specifically said, in the third time they went back to the flashback, that Kylo Ren burned down the temple and took a few of the Jedi with him. Killed everybody else.
Where are they?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, where are they? I know it's not those little fucking kids at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, in episode 7, you see Kylo Ren with the Knights of Ren. And you see him with like a bunch of dudes that have those masks on with him, and I believe that's the other people. However, it doesn't really delve into what happened to them after. You know. Very
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know how that comes into play.
I want to know what happens to them.
I want to know more than anything what you liked about the movie.
What I liked?
What did you like?
Kylo Ren and Rey fight scene with the Imperial Guards, amazing. Luke Skywalker, though his death was untimely, extremely untimely, I loved it. I loved him.
I loved
he was amazing.
Luke Skywalker.
He proved to me why I idolized him as a kid.
Because it was wonderful. The scene between him and Yoda was wonderful because
that was amazing.
That was probably the best scene in the movie.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The fight scene with Kylo Ren and Rey fighting, that was the best fight scene. The scene with Yoda, the Ghost Yoda, and keep in mind that wasn't the CGI Yoda. That was the actual puppet from the 1980 or the 1980 film.
That is awesome.
That was the actual puppet.
I was really happy about that.
That was really awesome.
I saw the back of Yoda's head in that scene when it first showed up in the movie theater. I was literally like, just start spazzing out. I was like, what?
I clenched my asshole so tight, dude. I was like, oh my god.
I was like, I had never thought I would ever see Yoda in another Star Wars movie. I was so happy about that.
I will give Rian Johnson credit for doing that because that was pretty fucking awesome.
Amazing choice. I had seen that and I was like, why didn't they... I thought to myself, wouldn't it have been even cooler if Obi-Wan Kenobi showed up?
Or Anakin.
Dude, okay, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't like Hayden Christensen, but if Hayden Christensen like showed up, sort of like, and they like, of course they digitally altered him
to make him look old,
to make him
and like fucked up.
Oh no, like remember how like they like when he died, he was like his normal self before he became Darth Vader, before he turned to the dark side. If they had just done that, obviously he looks old.
What are you talking about from the digitally remastered episode 6, or are you talking about from the original episode 6?
I don't want to say, oh God. Well, I mean, like nobody really knows about the original because all they see is the remastered version.
Yeah, where it's Hayden Christensen.
And Hayden Christensen was Anakin in the prequels, so I felt like it. I don't want to say that it would have made more sense, honestly. But if he did show up, I think I might have preferred the older version.
I think I would have too.
Because it would have been weird seeing Hayden Christensen look at Luke and be like, son. But I thought it would have been really cool if Obi-Wan Kenobi would have been there too. And then everybody was like...
I love Ewan McGregor.
Like, not Ewan McGregor, because that's not when he died. I'm talking about old guy.
That actor died ages ago.
That guy's dead.
That's probably the main reason they didn't include it, Obi-Wan.
But here's the thing. My girlfriend said the same thing. Here's the thing. Peter Cushing in Rogue One, that actor was dead. They still had him in there.
Peter Cushing.
He's like...
Oh, are you talking about...
He was one of the admirals. He was one of the senators. He's in, like, A New Hope. It's like when Darth Vader is in that scene choking somebody, and he's choking this dude, force choking him, and then Peter Cushing is the one actor that goes, Vader, release him.
Oh, you're talking about Grand Moff Tarkin?
Yeah.
From Rogue One?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said it from Episode 7, not Rogue One.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if I said Rogue One or not. But Peter Cushing, that actor, is dead.
Yeah. He's
been long dead. They didn't have any trouble doing that with him.
True.
No reason they couldn't do it with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
True.
And that's not like an issue I had. I'm thankful that at least Yoda was there.
Yeah, badass.
That was definitely one of my favorite scenes. Like I said, Luke made the movie for me personally. Finn, I loved Finn.
Finn's become my favorite.
He's my dude. If there's any modern character that they have in the movies now, Finn is the guy. Because he's just a noble dude.
John Boyega is a great actor.
He's like, the scene where he fights the...
Captain Phasma?
Yep. I was like, yes. Finn needed that.
Yeah.
He needed that moment of badassery. Because he was kind of badass in Force Awakens, but he didn't really have like a moment where he was definitively like the hero of that one scene. He didn't have like a triumphant scene in Force Awakens. And in this scene, he got that. And I was so happy about it. I guess I liked... I wanted to say I liked the action, but surprisingly, I didn't think there was that much action in this movie.
It wasn't like as much as... Force Awakens had a lot.
Force Awakens did have a lot.
Rogue One had a fuckload.
Yeah.
This one kind of toned back and started focusing on the plot, which...
Like the scene, like you said, the scene with Kylo Ren and Rey was cool. But I thought it was only cool when Kylo Ren was doing all the fighting.
Dude, Rey was kicking ass. Come on now.
I'm
she
sorry.
saved Kylo Ren.
I know. Kylo Ren also saved her. I don't know. I guess I'm just hating on Rey, and I'm really biased towards Rey right now.
Yeah.
Like I hate repeating myself, but any scene with Luke Skywalker killed it. The scenes towards the end where he's just
How about the
badass.
scene where Luke encounters R2-D2 and he plays the original projection of Princess Leia,
Dude,
calling for help for Obi-Wan.
why is it the greatest character in this movie, in any of these movies, is Luke Skywalker?
I don't know.
They
thought
it was appropriate to kill him?
I don't understand.
Savage.
Terrible.
That's a poor decision. Dude, that was one of the most powerful scenes ever. Like, because he's like, there's no hope. Like, he's talking to R2 and he's like, there's no hope. There's nothing.
And then Princess Leia is casted, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope.
And then I was like, oh shit, he is the Obi-Wan Kenobi in this situation. And he just looks down and he's like, cheap move. Oh, jeez. And, golly, I mean, any scene where, there was one scene that I thought was really cool. It was when General Hux walked in after the fight between Rey and Kylo Ren and all those dudes, and was looking at Supreme Leader Snoke's dead body.
And Kylo was like...
Unconscious. He was unconscious.
Oh.
And then General Hux looks at him as
He's
unconscious
about to kill
body.
him.
And then he was just about to pull out his blaster and shoot the dude. But then he woke up at the last second. I was like, whoa. That was pretty cool. Didn't go anywhere. That was pretty cool. It might mean that General Hux is going to end up being Kylo Ren's killer. But who knows?
I think Kylo Ren's going to kill Hux before anything.
I think so too. I think like he should have just gone ahead and done it. Because it's not like Kylo Ren didn't have his own like level of power in the company.
Yeah.
In the First Order.
The company.
I know.
The company.
In the corporation.
The
known
business.
As the First Order.
The business known as the First Order.
I thought it was cool how at the end of the movie they hinted at there's more force sensitive kids out there. Like there's still kids out there.
Yeah.
That are force sensitive, and that even though Rey is technically the last Jedi right now, there's still hope for the future. There's still light at the end of the tunnel. And that's what I liked seeing in these movies. Like, I like seeing in these movies how even when everything seems like all hope is lost, something comes out right at the end and just saves the day.
Yeah.
I felt like in this movie, though, they barely made it out. Like, they barely got by. Like, there wasn't really like it wasn't really like they were even... Like, here's the thing. With most of the Star Wars movies, there's usually like... especially like, you know, episode 4 up until 8, there's usually like a plot that involves them doing something that hurts the First Order, that like gets the first, that like hits the Empire, does something. It's like a goal they're working towards and trying to beat them. Like,
well, episode 5 didn't really do that.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
I guess it's true. Well, they were taking over Cloud City, and
They did take over Cloud City.
The rebellion was trying to talk to Lando Calrissian, talk to him and get him to do something. He
already signed off with Darth Vader.
They were working towards something. Is I guess what I'm trying to get at. In this movie, they were getting fucking hammered in the ass from the get-go. So, and I don't know if that entirely works to their advantage, because it does work in the sense that it creates such a hopelessness that they're going for. Like, they're so far, almost completely wiped out, that at the very beginning of the movie, they're fighting just to stay alive.
And what I want to know is, what happened between episodes 7 and 8? They had just destroyed the Starkiller base and everything looked fine. How did it get to that point?
Yeah, how did Finn end up with all that fucking liquid shit on him?
That's from when the fight with Kylo. He was still recovering from the fight with Kylo.
Oh, okay. I wondered what that was, because it had been a while since I've seen Force Awakens. Honestly...
Remember, he got his fucking ass kicked by Kylo Ren.
Yeah, he got his shit knocked. I don't know. it's overall, what would you rate the movie?
6 out of 10.
Really?
6 out of 10.
The other day you said it was a 5 out of 10.
I know, but like you brought up some good points, and I'd bump it up to a 6.
Okay. If I had to give it a rating, I'd have to give it a 7 out of 10. I'm not going to sit here and say that it was fantastic. I hate
that these media critics like IGN are giving it a 9.7, 9.8.
Dude,
that's over the top. No, that's better than that was better reviewed than episode 5 and in episode 6. The 2 best Star Wars movies.
Like I
thought Rogue One was better than this one. I fucking love Rogue One. I love that movie so much.
I thought Force Awakens was better than this one.
Force Awakens was so good.
Because at least with Force Awakens, they promised so much, and then by this movie, they kind of shattered a lot of stuff.
They shattered a lot.
I mean, like, they promised Luke Skywalker. Like, my biggest thing is they promised Luke Skywalker, and there is no more Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
This movie will always sort of have a foul taste in my mouth because it is the movie that killed Luke Skywalker.
Yep.
I don't think I'll ever be... That is the reason I can't really rate it. You know what? I might have to call it a 6.75 out of 10. Just because I don't know if I can call it a 7 out of 10. Because for the rest of history, this movie will be dubbed the movie that killed one of the greatest heroes in fictional history.
Yeah. And my personal childhood idol growing up. I can't stress that enough, like how much I looked up to this guy, and, and I wanted him to have the right death if he were to die. I can't left.
And I can't give it any higher than a 6.75 because, like I said, there's that really big issue I have with the plot.
Yeah.
I think that could have easily been dodged and we could have done something else. I think we could have done something more with Rey's character. I honestly felt like there were a lot of things in this movie that didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like that, you remember that big black hole that Rey slipped into and tried to find answers or whatever?
Yeah.
And didn't find them. And it was like...
The mirror thing?
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool.
It was just for character development.
Yeah, but like, what did it accomplish?
It accomplished that she was trying to use the Force as something to solve all of her problems.
And she couldn't?
And that's not what it's there for.
I can take that. It's just... I don't know. Like I call back to The Empire Strikes Back when Luke was training with Yoda and...
The cave?
The cave. Like, he was struggling with... He was trying... I don't want to say that he was trying to find a way... He was thinking about using the dark side of the Force. And in his mind, using the dark side of the Force, that's what they're doing. That's the easy way out. And he was thinking about using that, but when he went into the cave with that mentality in mind, the thing looking back at him was Darth Vader, showing them that if he kept on this path, he was going to be Darth Vader.
Exactly, and when he beheaded Darth Vader and the mask popped off, it was Luke's face underneath the mask.
Yeah. And I feel like that is so much more powerful than going into a cave, looking into a mirror of yourself, and then not finding anything.
Yeah.
Now, I could look deeper into this and look at more into the metaphor of it and probably give the movie a little bit of credit and say that when, like you said, she was looking for answers and she went looking for answers and she didn't find any, all she found was herself, indicating that the answers are inside of her.
Yeah.
And Kylo Ren even mentioned later, you already know the answers.
Yeah. And
I can take that. I can take that for what it is, but I guess like as much as I can accept that, it still doesn't do much for me in my opinion of the character of Rey. But I'm pretty solid at just giving the movie 6.75 out of 10. Rounds up to a 7. You can call it 7 out of 10. I'm calling it 6.75. It was entertaining all the way through. It did its job, but I felt like there were too major big things that I just couldn't get by with. Too many little things that piled up on top of each other that ultimately keep it out of range of a good average score, a good score. It definitely hit average for me.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks, because there are things I really hate about it, and there are things that I really, really love about it. I'm really torn on that, but I have to rest at that score. Any final thoughts?
J.J. Abrams, please
Save this trilogy.
Mop up the mess that Rian Johnson created.
Give us something good to go out on.
Give us a glimpse of hope.
Yeah.
Just a glimpse, because like, while like the ending with like Princess Leia and the rebellion living on is the hope. That's not the hope I was looking for. I wanted the hope that I was looking for is Luke Skywalker becoming a badass and leading the charge and killing stormtroopers with his lightsaber, and taking down the First Order and becoming the supreme being that he deserved to be.
Well, hope everyone enjoyed listening to this week's C4 Talks. Leave down in the comments below, your own opinions on the topics we've discussed here today.
Mm-hmm.
We can definitely at least recommend everything we've talked about so far. And, just tune in next week. I hope everyone has happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that, this, that, and the other. And have yourselves a good night.
Stay frosty.